Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsani ila yawm al-jazaa ma ba'd. We make dua, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our fasting, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our i'tikaf, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our efforts and our deeds during these last 10 days, during this blessed month. We make dua, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to find Laylatul Qadr, and we make dua, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the decision for maghfirah and hidayah, forgive us and guidance for all of us. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. So continuing Surah Maryam, Surah number 19, we move on to the second half. So after the discussion of the story of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, part of the story of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam with his father, a lot of adab on how we speak to people who disagree with us, speak to family members who disagree with us. We may dua, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to properly understand. I want to, inshallah, continue to move forward. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala briefly reintroduces a handful of prophets, one after another, starting from ayah number 51. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم واذكر في الكتاب موسى إنه كان مخلصا وكان رسولا نبيا. So remember Musa alayhi salam, or make mention of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. One of the descriptions given about him here, Musa alayhi salam, is that إنه كان مخلص, that he was someone who was chosen. Right? He was someone who was chosen. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing him as someone who does not devote himself to anyone other than himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the only thing he wants is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are other prophets who are also described, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Sad, Inna akhlasnahum bi khalisatin dhikra dar. We chose them and we purified them with the quality most pure. So khalis, like Surah Al-Ikhlas, this idea when we say ikhlas or sincerity, it has the meaning of something not having anything else mixed into it, right? So, I mean, a bad example, not a good example, but we can work with it, is like juice, okay, or foods that have things mixed into it, preservatives, artificial flavors, colors, okay, anything that has anything extra mixed into it, which would not be an original or essential part of it, that is not ikhlas. Ikhlas means only what is supposed to be there. And when we're talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it means nothing else is mixed into it. Right? So one of the ways our teacher in the UK, Shaykh Murad, may Allah preserve him, he explained, ikhlas we translated as sincerity, most commonly in English, but perhaps another way to explain it is singularity. Singularity is a word, those of us who are in like IT or familiar with AI, it has a completely different meaning and understanding. I'm not talking about that, right? Singularity, just the word in English. We can come to the masjid for a number of different reasons. We come to the masjid because every step we take, Allah forgives a sin, Allah writes a good deed. We come to the masjid because prayer with Jamaat receives more reward. We come to the masjid because we meet fellow Muslim brothers. We come to the masjid because we get to listen to the Quran. We come to the masjid because we want to give sadaqah. We come to the masjid for so many good intentions. And all of these are good intentions. All of these are mentioned in Sunnah. These are all reasons why we should come to the masjid. Instead of praying our fard salah at home, we pray our salah in the masjid. Okay. Ikhlas means that you take all of these intentions, 5, 10, 100, noble intentions. All of them are good and all of them we receive the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for. But through consistency, through practice, through istiqamah, okay, and by increasing your knowledge and increasing your dhikr, good company, all of these things, over time the exercise becomes what? All of these other reasons disappear. And the only thing that is left is this is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This makes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happy. I am the servant, the abd of Allah. Allah is my master, my creator. And that's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters. This is ikhlas. Right? This is ihsan. Jibreel alayhi salam came and sat in front of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and asked him, what is ihsan? Ihsan means you worship Allah as if you can experience Allah. If not, remember, recognize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of you at all times. This is the highest level of saliyah. This is the highest level of connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So ikhlas is one way to understand it. Ihsan is another way to understand it. We may do Allah allow us all to reach it. But Musa alayhi salam is described in this way. Right? There is a famous saint in our tradition. Her name is Rabia Basriya, Rabia al-Adawiya. Is a statement and a story attributed to her, Allah knows best. But she was someone who was in this state, and she would say amazing things, and a lot of times people would not really understand what she was talking about. But one time someone saw her, someone observed her, that she had a candle in one hand, and she had a cup of water or a bucket of water or some water in another hand. And someone just asked her, she's walking, and they asked her, what are you doing, where are you going? She says, I'm taking this fire and I'm going to burn down Jannah. And I'm taking this water and I'm going to put out the fire of Jahannam. So when someone says something like that, they'll be like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? What is going on? She says, I've studied people. I've studied people and I've observed people, and I've observed that people worship Allah, stay away from sins, do good deeds for one of two reasons. They want Jannah or they don't want Jahannam. So if I get these two things out of the way, then maybe people will worship Allah because it is His haq, it is His right to be worshipped. All of these other things, these are all secondary. Yes, we as human beings, this is what motivates us, reward and punishment, right? Fear and hope, but still, our number one goal and ultimately our only intention, our only goal should be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created me for His worship, I worship Him. Whatever He has commanded, I believe that it's good for me. Whatever He has prohibited, I believe I stay away from that, that's good for me. Reward and punishment, that is second step. The first step is the command of Allah. It doesn't matter what happens after that. We are the property of Allah. We are the slaves of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can throw everybody into Jahannam, and that is His haq. We are His property. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us about Himself, that He is Rahmanir Rahim. He doesn't get any benefit by punishing people. You and me are the ones who benefit. Right? And so recognizing that, understanding that, and getting rid of anything else, getting rid of everything else that can attach, that can pollute, that can corrupt, that can mix with the obedience and pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This exercise is called ikhlas. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then goes on to mention about وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ مِنْ رَحْمَتِنَا أَخَاهُ هَارُونَ نَبِيًّا. Right? As a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah gave Musa alayhi salam support in his mission to Fir'aun in the form of his brother Harun alayhi salam. So Harun alayhi salam, he is referred to, he is given the title as Hibatullah because of this ayah. وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ. One of the names of Allah is Al-Wahhab. Hiba means a gift. Right? Something that you give for free and not in exchange for anything else. Just out of generosity, just out of goodwill, and just for no other reason other than for love and respect. So Harun alayhi salam, he is referred to as Hibatullah. Adam alayhi salam is referred to as Safiyullah. Nuh alayhi salam is referred to as Najiyullah. Ibrahim alayhi salam is referred to as Khalilullah. Musa alayhi salam is Kalimullah. Harun alayhi salam is Hibatullah. Yusuf alayhi salam is Siddiqullah. Right? And then Isa alayhi salam Ruhullah. Dawood alayhi salam Khalifatullah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is Rasulullah. And there's others that are mentioned there. Allah knows best about the authenticity of these reports, right? But this is what the tafsir mentions. Harun alayhi salam is a special gift that was given to Musa alayhi salam. He made dua, right? رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِنْ لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُوا قَوْلِي وَاجْعَلْ لِي وَزِيرًا مِنْ أَهْلِي. Give me assistant, give me someone to help me from people that I know from my family. Harun akhi. And Allah accepted this dua in favor of Musa alayhi salam. The last thing that I want to mention, and we'll look at a couple other prophets inshallah next week, is very quickly, we've talked about this in Bukhari on Friday nights, inshallah we'll continue that after Ramadan, but just very briefly. Because the surah, a couple of the ayat that we are looking at, it mentions the phrase Rasul and Nabiyya over and over and over again, referring to Ibrahim alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, and then later on Ismail and Idris, right? A handful of the prophets who are mentioned here, Allah mentions after their mention at the end of the ayah, Rasul and Nabiyya. So very quickly, for our knowledge, what is the difference between a Nabi and a Rasul? This is significant, this is important for us to understand as far as our Aqidah and when we study the Tafsir. The word Rasul comes from the word Risala, which means message. Okay. The word Nabi comes from the word Naba, Surah Al-Naba, right? Which just means news. Okay. Naba has somewhat of a meaning of public information. The word Khabar can be public or private information, but the word Naba means more often public information. Right? So عَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ عَنِ النَّبَإِ الْعَظِيمِ, right? They're talking about the Day of Judgment, right? In the beginning of the surah, Surah Naba, Surah 78. So Nabi is someone who brings information. That is for everybody. Rasul is someone who brings a message. In the Sharia, so that's the word in Arabic. In the Sharia, in Islam, the technical difference between Nabi and Rasul is a Nabi, a prophet, a messenger who is given a new Sharia, or it could be in the form of a book, it can be in the form of a new set of laws, a new legislation. And a Nabi follows the existing Sharia, or the existing set of laws. So the most common examples are what? Ibrahim alayhi salam, the Quran mentions that he received Suhuf Ibrahim wa Musa. His son Ismail alayhi salam follows the Sharia of Ibrahim alayhi salam, the way he used to do Hajj, the way he used to fast, the way he used to do his Sadaqah, Zakat, the way he used to do his Salah. Ismail alayhi salam does it the same way as Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Ibrahim alayhi salam would be the Rasul, and Ismail alayhi salam, Ishaq alayhi salam, they would be the Nabi. They would not be described as Rasul. Okay. Dawud alayhi salam, he is Rasul, he receives the Zabur. His son Sulaiman alayhi salam, even though Sulaiman alayhi salam is higher in rank than Dawud alayhi salam, just because of the description given, he was pretty much ruler over all of civilization at his time, he would be described as Nabi. And Dawud alayhi salam, he would be described as Rasul. Musa alayhi salam, who is the younger brother of Harun alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam receives the Torah. His older brother Harun alayhi salam, he is a Nabi. And he follows the Sharia, he follows the Torah, he follows the teachings of the Torah given to Musa alayhi salam. So Musa alayhi salam is the Rasul. Okay. And so that is one thing to take from that every Rasul is a Nabi technically, but technically not every Nabi is a Rasul. That being said, here in this ayah, here in this set of ayat, in this section of Surah Maryam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing even people who are not technically Rasul, who are not, by accounts of other sources, described as receiving another book or receiving wahi, receiving a new sharia. They are also described as Rasul. So one of the things that the Mufassir would say, this is out of honor and azma. Right? This is out of honor and respect that, okay, maybe there are books that were given to them, but we don't know about those details. Maybe they did receive a separate set of laws that we don't know about those details. But in any case, inshallah, I thought that that would be of some benefit. We make dua. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to properly understand the teachings of the Quran. We spoke a little bit about ikhlas. May Allah grant us this ikhlas. May Allah allow us to recognize what it is, work towards it, and achieve it, inshallah, starting from these blessed nights of Ramadan, and then after Ramadan, throughout the rest of our life. I make dua. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me and all of us the tawfiq to become people of ikhlas, to become people of acceptance, and to become people who earn the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ameen ya rabbal alameen. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم لك الحمد كما أنت أهله اللهم لك الشكر كما أنت أهله إنك أهل التقوى وأهل المغفرة اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى اللهم لا مانع لما أعطيت ولا معطي لما منعت ولا ينفع ذا الجد منك الجد لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله